So yeah, video games are fun, right? Right. What's your favorite video game? I prefer the Tiger Electronics version of Mortal Kombat, or the plug-and-play bootleg my grandma got me for Christmas 2 years in a row. Okay, but my actual favorite consoles are a lot better than that trash. Side note, I stress consoles, so no overpowered door stopper will make an appearance on my list. This is my top 10 favorite consoles. Number 10. At number 10, we have the PSP. I'm a lifelong Nintendo handheld loyalist, but even I have to admit, when my uncle picked up a PSP, I was seething with jealousy. PlayStation stuff? On the go? Without having to get off the game because your dad wants a turn? When I finally got one of my own, it was love at first sight. All of the game series I played on console getting releases on mobile, either through ports or spin-offs? Jackpot! Plus, it had all the RPGs. Some of them weren't very good, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't spend hours on SOCOM Fireteam Bravo 2 or Tekken 5. Plus it had its own internet browser, so teenagers certainly got their use out of it as well. Hint hint, nudge nudge. Number 9. The NES. Old grandpop themselves. The NES was before my time, but being able to catch up later in life between finding an old NES at a thrift store, emulation machines, and even re-releases has schooled me to ample amount of history. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Final Fantasy, Mega Man all got their start here, with many others I'm not even mentioning. You can find random games now that don't get a lot of attention that are still fun to play. Plus, this is as simple as it gets. You got 2 action buttons, a control pad, and a start and select button. That's it. Even your technologically illiterate uncle could keep up with you in a game of black box golf. Number 8. At number 8, the Switch. The most modern console on my list, and for good reason. Someone give Nintendo R&D their props already. While Sony and Microsoft race to make an outdated PC, Nintendo always tries to think outside of the box with their consoles, and innovate, which always leads to success for them in their own little niche. Not you. The Switch is exactly that. Combining their stellar handheld market with their sluggish console market to one console has done gangbusters for Nintendo. Being able to play a game on the go and plug it up to a home console just as easy is such a great feature. Having stellar games also helps, which has never been Nintendo's problem. Mario and Zelda are back again with A+ outings. Smash Bros. Ultimate exploded everyone's minds and their wallets. Even Samus was let out of the doghouse for one of the best games we didn't expect. Now maybe we'll hear about Metroid Prime 4 sometime soon. Eventually. Number 7. At number 7, the Gamecube. The dark horse, one of the rare times Nintendo was buried in the dirt by the other consoles alongside Sega. It's okay, I still love you though. The Gamecube might get looked at harshly by some, but the Gamecube is great, even more so nowadays. It continued the 4-player aspect from the N64, which led to many different party games being made for it, such as WarioWare, Custom Robo Double Dash, and of course, Big Daddy Smash Melee. The single-player aspect wasn't left missing, with gems like Eternal Darkness, Metroid Prime, and the absolute gem, Star Fox Adventures. What wasn't good? The baby disc. The hell was up with those? Number 6. At number 6, PlayStation 4. So fun fact, I didn't own a PS4 until 2017, a few years into its lifespan. Yeah, you know, college and good old rent getting in the way of gaming, whatever. So when I got my first big boy job, one of the first purchases I made was buying a fresh used PS4 off of Facebook Marketplace from some guy in a parking lot. You know, not sketch. But when I finally got one, I was able to catch up on a bunch of games that I missed from both this era and the last. Between all the compilations of older games, and games like The Last of Us, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, and most importantly, Fall Guys, I fell back into heavy modern gaming again. Of course, the allure of retro didn't stay away for long, but I still keep an eye out for new releases because of this console. Number 5. At number 5, the Game Boy. So you know how I said the Switch combined Nintendo's console and mobile markets? Well, look at what started their string of successful mobile releases, the Nintendo Game Boy. The most sold console of all time, the Nintendo Game Boy was like an NES on wheels. It had all your favorite series in black and white, and even started some series, such as, I don't know, Pokemon. You could even play your Game Boy games on console due to the Super Game Boy attachment for the Super Nintendo. Nintendo would only do better as they released the Game Boy Light, the Game Boy Color, and then another one that might be higher up on this list. No spoilers. Number 4. At number 4, the Nintendo 64. The multiplayer king before the internet. The Nintendo 64 was a lot of 90s babies' first console, and most of our memories playing games with our friends started with this. 4-player co-op without accessories meant a lot of games could include a multiplayer mode, and boy did they take advantage of it. Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye 64, Bomberman 64, aren't you tired of me saying 64? Super Smash Bros, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Mario Party, all good friendship enders, just in case those sons of bitches get too big ahead. The Zelda series of course turned in 2 heavy hitters in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and Mario of course came out with a little game called Super Mario 64. No Samus representation though. Wonder where she was at this time. Number 3. The PlayStation 2. Now this is a perfect example of a great all-around console. I played the PS1 pretty often. It was pretty good. I wasn't particularly attached to many games, but it was still a good time. The PlayStation 2, however, is an absolute monster, and this monster was created due to how easy it was for developers to make games for it. Almost every company dropped a diamond on this console. Shadow of the Colossus, the GTA 3 trilogy, God of War 1 and 2, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, Devil May Cry, Burnout, Final Fantasy 10, 11, and 12, Persona 3 and 4, Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Okami, man! And that's not even half the amount of gems. Nowadays, most of these have been released in compilation packs or upgraded port, but back in the day, the PlayStation 2 reigns supreme in terms of quality. Number 2. The Game Boy Advance. Now if you thought the Game Boy broke wallets, when Nintendo released its sequel, the Game Boy Advance, all of the 90s babies collectively flew into fits begging our parents to get us one. Just like how the NES to Super Nintendo pipeline was unbelievable, the Game Boy to Game Boy Advance was similar, bringing 16-bit capabilities to the handheld and allowing some of the best games of the previous era to be ported, as well as new games that keep the same style to be made. While the Nintendo 64 and the rest of the 64-bit era tried to mainly show off 3D, the GBA kept the spirit of 2D simpleness going, while also coming up with its own original stuff. Golden Sun, Metroid Fusion, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, the Minish Cap, Four Swords, Crystal Chronicles. Speaking of the last two, wasn't the connectivity with the Gamecube super cool? And things only got better with the release of Game Boy Advance SP, where you finally had a backlight in the console, which meant not having to buy that shitty squiggly light attachment that never really worked. And number 1, the Super Nintendo. If you're familiar with me at all, you know this isn't a surprise. The Super Nintendo basically helped shape me as a gamer that I am today. Hell, I still own my original Super Nintendo and all the games that I had when I was 3 and play them pretty frequently. The 16-bit graphics and Super FX chips made games look amazing for the time, that even still hold up better than the awkward 3D stage does, with some exceptions. Also helps that most of the consoles were packaged with Super Mario World, one of the best games ever made. Add on the Donkey Kong Country series, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Mega Man X, Final Fantasy VI, Super Mario RPG, and, you know, my favorite game ever, Rise of the Robots, and you have a fucking force. Even made my color scheme for my channels, molded right after the North American Super Nintendo color palette, which is pretty cool. I can name all of my favorite games for the rest of time for this video, and I still would leave some off accidentally, which is why the Super Nintendo is my favorite console of all time. I have a console I didn't list or listed too low? Leave your opinion in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong. I'll be waiting. Have a good one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Bye.